Welcome back, families. I hope you are well. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. This video is about history. It is packed. I saw this video and my head is spinning around, to be honest. The words in it, the lesson in it. This is the Prime Minister of Burkina Faso. We need to learn our history. And I'm so grateful that he's sharing this history at this particular time to wake people up, especially the people in the Sahel, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, to wake them up to remember this history. He asks us to share it. If you don't know your history, it will keep repeating itself. But if you know it, you'll be able to navigate it and avoid the bad ones and take the good ones. Please, let's listen to him and I'll be back. Thank you for your time.
The lesson we can learn for this month of September is the following. The forgetful one will be condemned to relive it. So I repeat, the one who forgets the past will be condemned to relive it. It's important to know your history, as well as his own story, only others, so that we don't have to painstakingly reinvent the wheel. 51 years ago, day by day, September 11, 1973, somewhere in the world, a statesman was assassinated. President of the Republic. He nationalized the country's banks and mines. He then embarked on a policy of social reform. This was a direct attack on American interests. ITT's interests. International Telephone Telegraph, founded in 1920, had since diversified its field of activity, affecting the entire economy. The man was Salvador Allende, President of Chile. December 4, 1972. At the UN General Assembly, Salvador Allende solemnly declared the following: I blame ITT. Before facing international scrutiny for inciting civil unrest in my country. He was assassinated less than a year after this declaration. Allende had been elected on September 4, 1970 by a coalition of popular units, i.e. by Chile's working class and disenfranchised people. Upon election, the CIA was preparing a military intervention to depose him. Reverse it. The Americans didn't look far. It went through part of its own electorate. He rallied to the Syrian bourgeoisie. They used unions to divide the ruling coalition, in particular the truckers' unions, which they financed to organize endless strikes, including road blockades. This contributed to the deterioration of the situation and favored the advent of the counter-revolution with the bloody putsch of General Augusto Pinochet. Honest workers had no idea that their unions had been bribed by the Americans to describe Chilean society. They were thus the actors of their own misfortunes. The regime of General Augusto Pinochet showed no mercy to Chileans, especially for struggling individuals. M. Dillon's figures estimate over 3,000 dead and missing, 38,000 tortured, hundreds of thousands exiled, 300,000 redundancies in the first 12 months. Western governments that claim to defend human rights are not witnessing any human rights violations in Chile. On the contrary, Pinochet was praised and encouraged. He was even knighted by the British government. In so-called third world countries, as soon as a single hair on the head of a local servant of imperialism is touched, the West with all its armada falls on you. A leader who likes Western boots can kill and massacre as he pleases, even with Western encouragement. Chile is a case in point, as are African countries. The lesson of this story? Imperialist capitalists are cunning. And they know how to use anything to achieve their ends. There's also the fact that people aren't always truthful. Who would have thought that unions, supposed to fight for workers and their country, Seiko who collaborated with American imperialists to destroy their country. Here too, the lure of gain and unbridled ambition can turn a man into a wolf for his fellow man. We therefore need to be very discerning in our behavior and judgment, so as not to get embroiled in dead-end adventures by lawless people. Who wears borrowed clothes for 1,000 times? We Are All Love, which published a boat on August 24, 2024. This was only possible because we were duped. The head of state has given the necessary instructions for the protection of the population in the case of collective mobilizations such as this. Why weren't these instructions respected? Let's look around us each time with discernment, asking ourselves the right questions. Are we sure we have the right understanding of each situation? Are we sure we're not the victims of manipulators for whom we're nothing more than a means to an end? Let's meditate on the events of September 11, 1973 in Chile. Let's be aware of the realities of the moment so as not to be surprised by history, homeland, or death.
When I was listening to this video or this speech, my mind is going round. And you know what is coming into my mind was Venezuela. A few years ago, what happened to Venezuela? That they want they want the people to turn against their own president. They have chosen president or elected someone to become president for Venezuela. Who remember this? Maybe before COVID, 4 years ago, when that happened, Venezuela was on fire. So that's what was going on in my mind. Even their money, some countries has seized billions of Venezuelan money. And the same countries, their media are saying that, look at the people, the way they are hungry. Look at the people, how they are on the street. They don't have electricity. They don't have food. They don't have money. These same people have seized their money and they came out. They didn't hide it and say, we are taking your billions until you let the other leader stay in power. This is what was going on. I'm like relaying all what was happening, annoying, nasty. It's all coming back to me. And this is what he's trying to tell us. We should remember not to do that. And in Africa is Gaddafi. What happened to Gaddafi? May his soul rest in peace. This is the recent one I'm talking about. Those that they have poisoned and they claim is heart attack. Use your imagination. My families, I don't want to mention name. That's why I'm saying that I'm not disrespecting you. He wants us to learn our history and remember the game, the agenda, especially the Burkina Faso people. What happened recently that a whole army will come out to speak that way. There is one going on Mali, but you know, Malians, they use their language more when it comes to things like that. So I've been following, but I don't understand it properly, so I can't say anything about it. But it's another army that, according to the news, they have arrested him. Some says no, some YouTubers are using it to make their own content. But until it comes on the mainstream, the main official channel, I can't say anything about it. But it's just a disgrace for army to turn on your country when you have signed up to protect your country. The words he's using in this anniversary is for people to rethink of what they are doing, that the manipulation is still alive, the agenda is still alive. And I hope and pray that they will listen and protect their country instead. Protect their countries instead. Families, I don't know how you feel about it. I'm sure history will be repeating itself in your mind as well. I don't know what you have to remember. For me, it's Venezuela that is playing in my mind. I don't want to mention the countries, but you know them. They have seized their money up to today. They haven't given it back to the poor people. This is how nasty some of these countries can be. Yet, they will go and jump on other countries that won't feed their own people. Anyway, this video is getting long. My families, I will leave you here. I appreciate you all. God bless you. Have a great day. Have a good night. I don't know when you will receive this video, but God bless you. Credit to Faso 7. Thank you so much. Please don't forget to like the video. It helps. Bye bye.